Well,
But
that's enough tinfoil, I think.
yeah,
Let's get playing.
a lot of tinfoil. 1 hour, 40 minutes of tinfoil.
Hey, I was eating dinner for most of it, so I'm fine.
Let's see. Where's my token?
But as we always say with tinfoil, it does make sense, though, right?
It does make sense.
Everything makes sense.
So this is why you can't leave players alone.
Oh, you can. It's fine.
Yeah,
We're good.
the
Yes, we
southern growth
entertain
objective
ourselves.
is gone, as I said.
Yeah. That's why we lost that 100% completion.
Oh, we have to restart now.
We'll have to make like a guide of when you have to go where. Have to kill the grinder worm and then immediately go fight the demonic horde. After that, you have to go dream in Dragonhall.
We need to quick save more often.
At least we have completed Newport, right? So
For now.
You four have managed to entertain yourselves in my absence.
yes,
Almost 2 hours of what if.
I've only been here an hour.
just shows that we're invested.
Yes, I'm only 37 minutes late, so I'm glad you guys got the party started even early.
Very early in this game.
I don't know what all you said in the group chat, but I'm sure in all the time you've had for vocal communication, you've resolved whatever issues you've typed out there.
We've created more issues.
Okay, good, good.
We've
We're
created
going to
stuff.
Starport.
We have a bunch of mental fives now.
You folks are more than welcome to pursue objectives that are not listed on the tactical map. I will say, however, that going to Starport might be tantamount to suicide.
We'll make an arc and bring the people across the Iron Sea to Kalimdor.
To space.
Oh, to Kalimdor, huh? You're gonna have to tell me more about that, please.
Well, when I tell you, it becomes real. So it's a great place where undead die instantly and dragons don't exist.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Wouldn't that be something? The great heroes have come to say something in Axis.
so,
The Empire's doomed.
are you four
You must take your people.
Are you four interested in a recap, or do you all have a good sense of what the fuck happened last session? You just want to skip past that?
I think we have a good sense, right?
I'm good.
After all,
I'd like a recap.
well then you can do one, Manaki.
Well, that's effective.
You don't know what happened during it.
So last time, we dueled the Frost Fist. Yes, I think that's what we did. No, that was not what we did. Actually, we went north to scout out Moonwreck.
Well, we
Is that the first thing?
We also.
Wait a fucking minute. You've
We're
done all this
posting?
goddamn chatter about
Right.
the
Last
parent.
We
Go ahead.
started in
Last time.
Axis last time,
Yes,
and went
last time we
back.
left Axis. We went back towards Newport. After going back to Newport, we went ahead and confronted the Frost Fist, fighting him in a one-on-one duel with Geráck.
Yes.
Geráck succeeded. We went off and killed the Grinder Worm. And then we went to Moonwreck.
Manaki was
Shit
trolling,
happened that
I'm
session.
sure. How could he have possibly forgotten those things?
Now continue.
Good work, Dark. That was
Also,
very
we
effective.
discovered a demonic invasion, which is now the issue.
There's also like Leon and the White Dragon, but
Yes,
Many
that happened
issues.
too. Some weird guy called Leon appeared with something about another lich that Geráck apparently knew. Well, no one knew the lich, I suppose, that he talked about. But,
None of you are on good terms with a lich.
who's Asilian?
I don't tell you about my triple free with Lich King.
All right. So, you've undoubtedly been in Foothold for at least a few days, if not several. Consequence of you having to replenish your supplies after your extensive journey into Moonwreck and back, and also affording you players the opportunity to exercise your Well, your whims. Because some of you have wanted to learn more or do something more about the demonic invasion, and you have done just that. Aranas, I'll go ahead and spare you some haranguing, teeth-pulling roleplay, because your character has engaged in some downtime. Those lovely individuals that you got in contact with during the downtime will inform you. Perhaps you've not been up to speed, and it's not as if the foothold government, which is led by Dwarf, has been entirely welcoming to your group. Despite this news, he's been trying to muster things and get support from Forge and call for support from the Empire. But it seems that some other adventurers uncovered a plot to set an entire, really the largest granary in Foothold, on fire. It seems that cultists were behind this. Cultists who had infiltrated the the government here. Cultists of the Diabolist. And your lovely little friends, whom you spent your icon relationship die for, surmises that there's probably others in the Foothold government as well, who have not been caught by adventurers.
Could you repeat that? You cut out for me.
Okay.
Count for me as well.
Okay, so I'm not the only one.
Okay. Try that again. Cultists of the Diabolist were caught by adventurers. These cultists were attempting to basically detonate the main granary that holds the food stores for Foothold. Of course, there's been massive food shortages across the Dragon Empire. This granary would be used for, say, a critical emergency like a siege. Adventurers caught these cultists. The granary has not been detonated.
Good on those adventurers.
Yes, but your little friends that you made contact with an icon relationship die do surmise that there's most likely other cultists here who have infiltrated the government who haven't been caught by adventurers.
So we get our paladins to declare martial law, right?
You have no authority to do so.
We asked the governor
Yeah.
to do it.
Well, we certainly can have
We
a
no
role
inclination.
play.
No, I don't. Oh, politics.
But suffice to say that
I don't.
with this planning in mind, the adventurers revealed a long-standing plot. These cultists have a few of them have been well-respected members of Foothold for months, if not years.
Well, could we maybe get in contact with those adventurers? I imagine they're good people, and if they're good people, we might actually lend them our support while we're gone. Because I think, this gives us some very important information that the city here, that the demons do intend to siege Foothold.
Yes. It is certainly a possibility. It would also remove the ability of any army in the area to operate at all. And should the food supply be removed, it also, there wouldn't be much of a siege. Demons show up and say, we're taking the city. And the people go, we can't live. So you have the city. And demons have city. You can, however, certainly get in contact with the adventuring group. As it turns out, they have a rather sort of colorful name to them. They are known as the Blood Drop Crew.
They don't sound recognized people.
Yes, the individual in particular, their leader, is a worshipper of the dark gods. He is a follower of the Crusader, and his name is not one that any of your characters would know. Rylan Witt.
I thought I remember that name.
I remembered.
What? I don't know about that. No name. But,
Yes, the story goes from the little friends that Aranas has made here, that the Blood Drop Crew managed to track down these horrible cultists, and pretty much didn't ask the government for permission, didn't bring this up with the dwarf who's running Foothold, didn't go to any fucking council meeting, just brutally slew all of these cultists in the streets.
How good is... Well, I assume then his evidence is pretty damn good.
Yes, it was basically demonstrated after the fact. Like, see? Look at all these hidden symbols of the Diabolist!
You know, these are the kinds of people we need.
Look at these hidden notices! What could it mean? It means that they were trying to detonate the granary.
They're not the kind of people we would publicly endorse, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly.
Public endorsement of a mercenary group of the Crusader would not be a bad thing. While the Crusader is scoffed at in the major cities, that's because those major cities have things like the Archmage's wards and the Priestess's blessings for protection. Outside the major cities, like, people don't really care about who's protecting them.
I was thinking of like, I'm a little considerate now, but maybe you guys, I'll tell you the idea. We could give these adventurers, the command of our paladins of the Great Gold Worm while we are off to gather our people. It seems like he could do with an army of paladins to make sure that these demons get screwed up. Because if there's one thing we can trust Crusader people to do, it is to screw up demons. You know?
That would not work.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know what the Paladins
The Dwarven Paladins would be like, we're not being commanded by anyone who follows the Crusader. You can go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I'm sure the government is like, no, this was all the threat there was. There's no one else who's going to try to burn the granary.
Yes, the government has immediately gone into, like, spin mode to, like, reduce panic from the populace, who's now suspecting spies everywhere.
I am now suspecting spies everywhere.
This guy's a spy.
The problem with how Rylan Witt and the Blood Drop crew resolved this problem is that it was a very public affair. And not something that the government could contain.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
what do we do?
But the friends you contacted, they're still heading out to do what Aranas suggested. They just heard about that and thought, maybe you haven't been able to keep up on Foothold news.
That's pretty good. Give us as much time as you can. That's what we need.
As noted, they'll do what they can.
So do we put the Paladins to actually guard the granaries, or do we use them for other stuff?
I don't think they're super good at like intrigue, dealing with politicians and stuff. But
maybe not.
But I don't know. Guarding the great food stores might be something. We could even could we suggest to the governor? I don't want to talk to that guy.
We could just send him a letter.
He's probably super racist. We could send the Dwarven Paladin leader, Ulysses himself, to be offer his service to guard the granaries of the place to make sure that no more cultists get in there.
That would be
maybe the sight of more Dwarven Paladins on the streets could calm people down.
That would be accepted. You wouldn't have to deal with too much political haranguing about that. The government of Foothold does recognize that there is a threat approaching, as it turns out, and the evidence that Rylan Witt and the Blood Drop crew managed to drum up is pretty condemning, despite Rylan's methods. And so, Ulysses the Stout and the entire monastery company that you've brought, I mean, the monastery that you recruited these guys from also isn't that far from Foothold, so they're familiar faces here. They can stay around to guard the granaries, and Ulysses himself says that's probably a good use.
Watch out for people trying to open the gates whenever the enemy arrives and that sort of thing. That's kind of common. Invade the city with full of traitors thing to do. So
yes,
we will. I imagine then. Sounds like be going to get reinforcements.
Yeah, we also need to ask him for ships though to ferry our troops.
Yeah. If we were to bring to the government's attention that we would likely have several armies of units by I guess by the lakeside of Calamity in a few months' time. Maybe it would be good to keep some of those ships safe so that they don't get burned when the enemy attacks.
Even if the government were to impress every non-military ship here, which it certainly would for this cause, all of these ships combined could only haul 2 of your units at a time.
Alright.
There's just
So
not
be
that
it.
much of a naval presence here. Because it's not really
yeah.
needed.
Yeah, but make sure that they can at least carry 2 then, and they don't
Yes.
get burned and can't carry anything, because then it's kind of bad.
Yes,
We'd
they
have to
should-
ferry a few times back and forth then, but we could likely step some of our people off here, and they could then march while the ships double back and get more people and then meet here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even if the
Trying
ships
to, I
go
imagine,
back and
relieve
forth,
the
it
siege.
should still be
Depends on how
faster.
easy it is to get into the city from
The-
that angle.
The Imperial
Well,
warships
we'd
that
likely
you...
not be able to get into the city. We'd likely attack the demons while they were sieging the city.
It's worth noting that your Imperial warships could not go through Jedna's Folly. They're too big, and Lord Mulrian would be... I'm not going in there, you're fucking crazy.
The assumption is we'd set them off here,
Yeah.
and then they would walk to here, and then be sailed to this area here, where we would gather up before we should struck.
Is there an easy way to get across this river here? Or is there-
Yes.
Alright.
There are several dedicated bridges.
All right, not easily collapsible by demons.
No.
Fully,
Well,
that's good.
I mean, they could be destroyed as could be any object, but there are several bridges.
Yeah,
I don't think.
let's
I
avoid
also
the
don't
wooden
think.
ones.
I think we can assume that our approach here is not one demons will expect.
Hopefully.
That suddenly armies from Newport will arrive. I don't think that's the.
Well, it
It's a
won't,
great
won't
threat.
really be suddenly, as it'll take a few months, but yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think they expect that.
Yeah.
And if the demons were trying to make a siege shorter, that would also imply that they're expecting some sort of siege.
Oh, they
Which-
most likely will be expecting a siege, and they most likely will also be expecting reinforcements to arrive from the Crusader and the Emperor.
The Diabolist, the Diabolist has a tendency for willing corruption. What the Diabolist forces and cultists tend to do is when people are weak at any moment of strife or indecision, like a battle or siege or some other great horrid thing, the Foothold, the Diabolist people show up, offering power and deals. In exchange for promising the Diabolist things.
Power and deals, you say?
Yes. It's not something that your characters really know a whole lot about due to the fact that none of you have any relation with the Diabolist.
Have never even worked with or fought demons before. To be honest, they're not really a thing in the Queenswood a whole lot.
Yeah.
There are other temptations that are above them.
There's also the problem with who are we gonna send to Newport to basically talk to our troops there.
I'm not sure. Because I don't think we have time to go there and to go to get the
No, we
the
definitely
Red Gauntlet Company.
don't.
But I would suggest we paid 3 or 4 different captains to sail to Newport with the message, just so that even if one gets destroyed, then
If there are any who sail from here to Newport.
Your message would have to be basically carted across this body of water to some communities that are along the Bitterwood Forest, carted through the Bitterwood Forest to Glitterhagen, and then sailed across the Midland Sea to Newport.
I imagine that we could go to Glitterhagen first,
And then send the
and
message
then
from
send
there.
the messages from there.
Yeah, that's probably the best idea. Unless we split the party.
Across on two sides of the Midland Sea, we could. We could go 2 and 2, but it seems like
That's a bad idea, probably.
yeah, I'm not expecting trouble, but trouble has a way of finding you when you're weak. So
There's
sure they'll
there's plenty of trouble out in the Midland Sea
joy
right
in
now.
wanting to kill us. So
You might
I was
encounter a
thinking
bird ship's
of
raider.
going to Axis, actually, directly from Jedna's Folly, going to Axis, because we need more ships to be able to ferry the Red Gauntlet Company.
Yeah, we do. So yeah, we probably should go to Axis first.
The Red Gauntlet Company is only one army, so they don't take up an entire unit of warships.
Yeah, but we still need them.
The question is how many of our units from here would we bring? Seems like all of them would be best, since we're going to fight a ton of demons.
Maybe not the engineer. On the other hand, if it's a siege, engineers might be pretty damn useful.
Yeah, depends on if we're actually going to assault
We,
the sieging forces or if we're going to hold out.
Foothold does already have engineers that they will be making use of.
We could set the engineers to seal the bitter metal cabins while we take the other three. That would also leave like our ships to not be completely helpless if they run into trouble. Yeah. Which would be nice, I imagine.
Also, as a note, Lord Laxham's, it looks like he was fatigued.
He is no longer fatigued.
Yeah.
That was a note left over from last session.
Okay.
As, yeah. He's no longer bad off.
Okay. So we have 3 armies. We have 3 armies there. We can send the engineers down.
The cattle transports would still effectively be that. They just wouldn't be completely laden to over max capacity. They'd still do poor if they got into a fight, though, while traversing the Midland Sea.
Yeah. We would tell them not to fight, but
well,
sail.
I mean, like, if people go after them.
Well,
like,
they have, like, 2 armies of wizards. Hopefully they can speed up enough to sail away from people. That would be the...
They could very well pursue that objective. And fatigue...
That's what they need to do.
Yes, they, if both groups end up becoming fatigued again, yeah, they could return to Jedna's Folly at top speed, or head there at top speed.
So we include in the message,
it's something
like,
they could
avoid
do,
combat at all cost.
Could do if they would get into combat, yeah. Fatigued is still better than being wounded, I think.
Yeah. Or sunk.
Or dead.
That would basically mean we were screwed.
Yeah.
I would suggest then that we go to Axis, basically send the messages off from there. Ask for support for Horizon. We have a lot of Archmage dice, and since we're not bringing the engineers, we might actually need more mages, because I don't imagine that all of them are going to survive.
There's, of course, always the possibility. You have plenty...
and then also hire the Red Gauntlet Company, then we would say...
You have plenty of political power. You can befriend run through the Maleficent.
I've spent at least hours trying to convince them, but...
No.
Geráck, the great paladin of the... have given Aranthu enough pain slaves that the demon wishes to ally with him.
I'd imagine that they...
the demon is.
Yes, it's worth noting that all of the political power would basically end up forming into one, wonderful, like, tribute, as well as you trying to soothe over any relations that would involve the demonic invasion marching somewhere. Because if you wanted to send them somewhere, you better believe they're leaving a swath of destruction across the Dragon Empire.
Yeah.
I'd imagine that the in-character discussion about whether or not to hire the demon hordes was pretty damn short.
Yeah.
We could acquire the demon hordes.
No.
No.
You could have avenues into this wonderful power in order to, like, stop the age from going to shit.
Yes.
What are principles if everyone is dead?
I could also cut my own leg off, but I'm not going to.
That does not help you gain power.
If you're a
Still a
sorcerer,
possibility.
if you're a sorcerer, you can like cut off some
If we
body parts.
if we become what we fight, then we will doom the age in the end.
Would that be better, though?
The Obelisk ended the last... Yes, when you folks are the ones who have the power, it's different.
And we're the ones ending the age and killing everyone.
But if we did that, then at least we know that we have a very good reason to do
We
just
did
that.
pay the Frostfist, and he was a lesser evil than an army of demons.
Frostfist's army was still pretty bad.
And we got them to kill
What if
each
we
other.
combined these two? Yeah.
The Frostfist demons.
And sent them to Ragnar.
So fire and ice.
Well, let's what do you guys think? Us going to Axis, hiring the
Access Horizon.
the red company and the archmages and ships, and then meeting up with our mages and clerics here basically.
Get mages in access.
Get
Oh, like we
mages in
go to
Horizon.
Axis and then we can. There's pretty good highways there, and the shipping, like they're not. I imagine a ton of pirates like here.
Would you then rather get mages? With the
It's because we have
relationship
dice for
die.
mages. Yes,
But we're gonna sail there, right? There's no point using
I imagine
boats.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we go to Glitterhagen, go to Axis, buy boats,
And
sail
honestly,
to Horizon.
it would probably be quicker for you folks to not go through Jedna's Folly by boat. You'd want to travel through the Bitterwood Forest instead.
We just march.
Unless you literally want to go through the rapids.
No.
But we
Which-
don't have a ship on this place. I don't know how many there are.
And let me tell you what, no one wants to steer you through the rapids. No one wants to take their ship through the rapids.
Could we?
Would it be easier
Could
to
we
land
catch
here?
like a ship here? I guess we could go through the Bitterwood. You think?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that was the suggestion.
Huh.
Marching through the Bitterwood.
Dock here, move up.
There-
We
there's-
are a small group after all. And
How
I don't
horrible
think...
is the Bitterwood?
Well,
So-
it's on the one hand, it's bitter. On the other hand, it's also close to one of the major cities. Any problems that you would encounter there are, for the most part, adventure tier. I mean, like, you'd probably be fine. It'd be
Sure,
better
let's
than
go
going through the
through,
rapids.
So we
Let's
tell
go
our
through the
armies to
Bitterwood.
go to Glitterhagen then.
I suppose that's a good place to meet up as any. Then, yeah.
Then we march north.
We basically march this way along the coast until this point, if possible. Like as soon as we reach the calamity, the ships can begin to ferry us over here.
Yeah,
But
I
our
mean,
remaining troops can just continue to walk until like they get their turn.
yeah, we can meet the ships right here, and then they sail the first troops over while the rest of them will continue.
Well, I
to
imagine we would
march.
sail our troops here. We don't want to reach like the actual siege in like little groups.
Sure.
Like, but yeah,
So
I
we'll meet
think
them here
that
then.
sounds like a plan. Would make sense then. Yeah, Axis Horizon, then Glitterhagen. Hopefully, we can meet up at the same time as the others go there to not waste
And-
time.
And meanwhile, hopefully our couriers sent out from or messengers sent out from Glitterhagen don't get lost. That would be
Well, I
bad.
imagine we would send them from Axis then.
From Axis,
Well, if that's where we go first to get the ships.
or maybe Horizon, being as magical as
Well,
it is, can somehow
actually,
send a
no, we
message
send them
to
from
our
Geráck
mages?
because we're
We can
going
also
right
stop
there.
by in Shadowport. Like, I mean,
No.
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 But you can get just about anything you want in Shadowport.
Can we get an item which automatically destroys a demon army?
None of you have ever tried.
If we're rich enough, I suppose.
We have 7 political.
The King of Shadows can get it, right?
If you're looking to use political power, you have a way to befriend Aranthi the Maleficent by utilizing all that political power.
But I don't want to befriend a
But then
demon.
we could send demons against liches.
yes, and behave
And
for
kill everything on the way there.
Casualties are to be expected.
we just have to help the demons fight their way through Forge and conquering the down the fangs.
They
we'll
would
battle next to them.
they would take the path of least resistance.
That doesn't mean the path of no resistance. The Crusader people would not be okay with them just passing through.
Who cares about the Crusader?
But yeah, I think we have a plan here.
Yes, let's do it.
Alright, so the four of you abandon Foothold, leave it to its own devices.
Don't say it that way.
Hey, we left our dwarven paladins.
You
Yeah,
four
imagine the
abandon
people-
Foothold, leaving
The
it
people
to...
look at us as we
No.
take boats that could have been used to save refugees.
Well,
Shut up.
you get on one single ship.
Please
That,
stay.
that
son.
could have been used to house like 20 orphans.
Yes, you better believe, though, that people are fleeing out of Foothold. Once news of this horrific thing has spread, They don't know whether, like, it's coming to Foothold, but there's plenty of folks who are like, I don't feel like being in Foothold. And there's certainly plenty of folks who've been arriving, or who will be arriving in the days to come as they flee from the west.
Could we, like, help ferry them, like, get them to move to Forge instead of, like, taking all the boats? I imagine that's where they would go anyway. The safest place.
Yes, there are folks who are also fleeing towards Forge. The people who are taking boats don't want to go into the mountains.
Well, if they're quick enough, they can follow us through the Bitterwood. Well, I guess we'd abandon them there because we're kind of hurry. But yeah.
Yes, but like merchants and like craftsmen and artisans and peasants and whoever the fuck else, they are leaving Foothold.
They would have to pay us at least 25 gold pieces for us to escort them through the
No, they
forest.
wouldn't.
No, it'll take forever.
Not looking for escort, they're just looking to leave Foothold, and they're going to be doing that.
They can be like, even like if they go like over to the other side of the water here, that's pretty safe. Like, they're probably not going to go there.
Well, they're not just going to like fucking like spawn out like right there. Like, Anvil is not a port fortress.
No. But like, even if you were just sitting on the coast here, you'd be much more safe than on this coast.
That is not inherently true. Not as far as
Whatever.
peasants believe.
Elves don't have peasants.
Elves don't
Well,
have-
not at home, at least.
There's always peasants.
There's always peasants. When there's a will,
Brought
there's
the Dwarf
peasants.
King down.
They find a way.
That's
Only a few things are constant in life. Death and peasants.
I think that was what the quote was.
Oh, God. Death and peasants.
So as we're abandoning people and they're looking sorrowly at us,
we'll
I mean, if that's
probably
what you
come
want
back.
to imagine, but that's not happening. If that helps your head canon.